tempo is high within the major opposition as Aminu Tambuwal, the Secretary of State Governor and Director General of the National Campaign Management Committee of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, including the presidential candidate ATIKU Abubakar, have all announced the party will flag off its 2023 campaigns in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, on Monday, October 10, 2022. Now, with Tambuwal's announcement, the party is ready to work the electorate for votes despite the deepened crisis which has lingered for months, with ATIKU unable to truly reconcile with the Governor Nyesom Wike-led faction, if you may say it that way, of the party. While on the sidelines, Dino Melaye, a spokesperson of the campaign, is asking Nigerians to be wary of the governing All Progressives Congress, as he's alleging that the APC and its candidate is not ready for the election. He says that the APC seems not to have composed its national campaign committee, just like the PDP, and he's asking the party to just stay aside and watch as the PDP shows what looks like an example, like it did with its national convention to elect its national chairman and all of that. What does this make or mar the chances of the party as it takes its campaign train to the south of the country? Well, who else can better explain all of this than the spokesperson of the party itself, Senator Dino Melaye, who is joining us right here. He's a former federal lawmaker who represented the Kogi West Senatorial District in the 8th Senate. So good to have you here, Senator Dino Melaye.
Yeah,
let's start with the decision to take the campaign to Akwa Ibom State. Why Akwa Ibom?
Basically, we took that decision just to show the unity of purpose, or in the person of ATIKU Abubakar. We said, okay, since it's from the northern part of the country, it's no crime to kick off the campaigns from the southern part of this country. And like you know, ATIKU Abubakar is the only one in this country today that is welcomed in the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT. He's the only presidential candidate that the 36 states of this country is a home to. We are more than prepared to kick off, and Akwa Ibom, starting from tomorrow, will definitely politically blossom, and you will see what will happen on Monday, and that will tell Nigerians the difference between darkness and light.
Are you insinuating that Tinubu is not acceptable in other parts of the country, or Labour Party's Peter Obi, or even Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso of the NNPP? You
are an investigative journalist. Go to the core north of this country. Go to the eastern part of this country. Tinubu, when he was even going around for his campaigns during the presidential primaries, he did not even go to the eastern part of this country. He didn't even go there. So go to the eastern part of this country, go to the core north, and tell them Tinubu, many don't even know him. And the same for Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, whose enclave is between a part of the northern part of Nigeria. And the same for Obi, who is mistaken for either a footballer or Obi Kubana in some part of the north.
Isn't that rehashing what we see every now and then on social media? I mean,
yeah, but
there are lots of Nigerians. We've seen Obi moving around the country, meeting with top political leaders across the country.
I'm not going to criticize Obi in that regard, but I'm going to tell you that Obi's time is not now. The only Nigerian who is acceptable, welcome, known in every nook and cranny of this country, just like Coca-Cola, is ATIKU Abubakar.
Isn't that because he's a veteran presidential contender, has never won any election since 1992 when he started this race?
It is not correct that he has not won any election, because he won election as a governor of Adamawa State.
Well, and he won, I'm talking of a presidential contest. He started contesting the presidency in 1992 before he contested for governorship in 1999.
I would like to also correct you that he actually won the 2019 election.
Well, not on record. That is in PDP's world.
It may not be on record, but in reality, he won that election. And I'm telling you that this is our time. This is the time of ATIKU Abubakar. No. Nigerians are yearning for ATIKU Abubakar. The presidency is begging for ATIKU Abubakar, while other contenders are begging for the presidency.
In a PDP that is in shambles at the moment, and it's taking them a lot of time to be able to settle issues. If ATIKU is a unifier, like he claims to be, why is he unable to unify the people in his political party?
I grossly disagree with you that we are in shambles, because we are not in shambles. Today, the PDP is the most organized political party in this country. The PDP came out First, to start with, we're the first major party to conduct our convention. We're the first to produce a presidential candidate. Our presidential candidate is the first to pick up his presidential form. Our presidential candidate is the first to submit his presidential form. He's the first to put together a campaign council. He's the first to inaugurate his campaign council. He's the first to kick off campaigns as we are speaking. So if we're in shambles, where is this organization coming from? The PDP is the most organized political party in this country. No political party that is contending for this presidential election has formed a presidential campaign council yet. None. Well, they are not even talk of kicking off the campaign. They are not even prepared for campaigns, not to talk of election. So a party that is disorganized, purposeful, and well-driven in terms of ideology and manifesto, and we have put together our campaign materials, we are kicking off our campaigns, you say we are in shambles? No.
If it wasn't in shambles, then why would we have the crisis that's ongoing with Nyesom Wike and his group? 5 governors. Imagine what that will mean to your own campaign if 5 governors are not supporting Atiku Abubakar.
I want to tell you
and then the national chairman is battling to put together NWC that's divided at the moment.
Yeah, if you ask me a question, I will appeal that you allow me elucidate on the question. The truth of the matter is clear and simple, that as I speak with you today, politics, democracy is noisy. And it is a natural phenomenon in politics. You can have wranglings, you can have disagreements, you can have some level of manipulations, but that does not mean it is colored an elaborate crisis. Atiku and Wike met last week. If it is a bomb like you are trying to portray, they won't be talking. We are talking. And Wike is not saying, I will not work for Atiku. Wike has not said, I'm not going to work for the PDP. The governors of the PDP who are supposedly with Wike have not said, we're not going to work with Atiku. They have not said, we're not going to work for PDP. One of them, the governor of Enugu State, hosted us about a week ago in Enugu. He rolled out everything to welcome Atiku. He made a speech, categorical speech, supporting Atiku's candidates and the PDP. So, by the time you magnify a crisis that is manageable, a domestic issue that is going to be tackled domestically by the party, and those who are not yet to even organize anything, you are not saying there's crisis in their party.
Yeah, but that same governor didn't show up at the beginning of Atiku's book launch.
He was represented at that book launch. And you will recall that the program in Enugu was a day before the book launch. And he hosted us in Enugu a day before. He couldn't have immediately, that same day, rushed to Abuja for this program. But he was represented at that program. And you saw the welcome we had in Enugu. He organized the reception. He took us around. We even had lunch with him in the government house. So, as far as I'm concerned, we are very solid. We are very, very articulately put together. We are organized. We are already kicking off. We are waiting for them to be spectators, to only see. We will continue to show the way. We will continue to lead the way, because PDP is the oldest political party in Nigeria. APC was already packaged, you understand? It is not a political party, it's an NGO, already put together. But the PDP, as I speak to you, everything is intact. Our DG is busy as I'm speaking with you in his office, trying to put together arrangements for Uyo. Our directorates are functional. There is movement of people. There's no problem, and there's no crisis between our chairman and the presidential candidate. Everything is going on smoothly. And I'm telling you that even as I'm speaking with you, Wike is working for the PDP, because his project in Rivers is also another campaign for the PDP in Rivers
If Wike is working for the PDP, then why is he sanctioning associates of Atiku Abubakar? People who have identified with Atiku Abubakar, like Celestine Omeya, Austin Okpara, and all of that.
Is Austin Okpara, Celestine Omeya closer to Atiku than Wike? It's a question.
Well,
you saw them in the entourage of Wike when he was campaigning for presidency. They followed him everywhere in this country. So it is not true. Don't call them. I mean, when I
had conversations with them where they told me clearly, Senator Dino Melaye, yes, that they are being witch hunted because they visited Atiku Abubakar to identify with him, contrary to what Nyesom Wike wants them to do.
The issue in Rivers is domestic. It will be tackled domestically.
Okay.
The issue in the PDP is domestic. It will be tackled domestically. Will it have a positive concomitant effect on our organization, on our program, on our movement? No. No.
So why
every one of them is a patriotic, committed PDP member? It is not a crime to have disagreement. It is not a crime to have arguments. But at the end of the day, we are one indivisible, matured political party. And we are going to go into this election as a united front, I promise you.
And I'm curious to know why, while taking a decision to go to the South-South, you didn't go to the state of your vice presidential candidate, Ifeanyi Okowa. Why didn't you choose Delta, for example, to kick off?
It is more strategic to go to a place. Delta is conquered. Okowa is their son.
You think so?
Yeah, Delta is conquered.
With the APC and its deputy senate president, who is the governorship candidate and waxing stronger by the day.
Stronger where?
Did you watch the Labour Party and its rally today? I mean, in the hometown of your vice presidential candidate,
anyway,
Ifeanyi Okowa, in Agbo today.
When you see those type of euphorias, I just laugh, because that's political strategy of crowd hiring, mobilization, for commercialization of people's consciences, moving them to paying 2,000 for people to come for it. It's outdated, it's colloquial, it's analog, it's fit for pure parlor discussion. ATIKU is real. ATIKU is original. Wherever he goes, there is an organic response to its appearance.
And that's what the Labour Party too has said.
No.
Do you have facts that or evidence in one way or the other that Labour Party is actually paying 2,000?
I want us to,
because they're also claiming to be organic in their rallies too.
I want us to discuss progressively serious issues and policy statements of the PDP.
Yeah, and I'm actually coming to that.
Discussing euphorias.
I'm actually coming to that, but of course they were trying to send a message to your vice presidential candidate that they actually have some strength in his home base, and that's why they had to put up that show in Agbo.
My brother, but propaganda and reality, they are different. Reality and fiction, they are different. The PDP is an organic party with organic members, with proper organization and structure, and Nigerians believe in it. It is different from fiction. It's different from 419. It's different from when you try to do propaganda to buttress acceptability. There are two different issues. You cannot place the Labour Party, PDP, ATIKU, OBI on the same pedestal. Discussing it is demeaning to me. I would rather we discuss
even when your principal chose the same person in 2019 to be his vice presidential candidate.
Let me say this without mincing words, that Peter Obi is a fantastic Nigerian. And he is a discovery of Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar gave him the national platform that he's using now. If he were not the vice presidential candidate of Atiku Abubakar, he would have no national platform. People have forgotten that he was even governor of Anambra State. So I want to tell you that he's a fantastic man, but this is not his time. Nigeria is too big a shoe for Peter Obi to wear now. What we need now is a father figure. What we need now is that matured Nigerian that is known in every nook and cranny of this country, who have the potency and capacity to unite us together as a people.
And you believe that
the
man is
Igbos,
Atiku
the
Abubakar?
Yorubas, the Fulanis, the Hausas, the Ijos, the Tiv, the Okuns will believe in, and it will restore back the long-lost reputation of this country. Will bring back our unity, because without unity, there can be no peace. Without peace, there can be no development. The issue of insecurity and all that important, but we first need one man who has the capacity, the potency, the character to all bring us together. And that man today, among all the presidential candidates, is Atiku Abubakar.
Okay, Senator Dino Melaye, what exactly will you be telling Nigerians as you begin your campaigns that's going to be different from 2019 and 2015 and other previous times Atiku Abubakar had contested to seek this position? Why should Nigerians trust Atiku Abubakar when in the past they rejected him?
Brilliant question. What we'll be telling Nigerians as we kick off our campaigns on Monday is that we are going to bequeath to you a nation where you will have hope in your country. Today, nobody have hope in this country. Nobody. We have lost hope. We are going to tell Nigerians that we are going to run a country where every citizen of this country will be treated like a customer. If you go to MTN, you go to the corporate society, corporate world, you see the way customers are being treated. If you pick your phone now and call the customer service of MTN or Glo or any of them, you will see that a graduate on the other end is talking to you, a roadside vulcanizer. How are you, sir? How can you help you, sir? What's the problem, sir? With that same dexterity, that same respect and dignity is what the PDP and ATIKU is going to treat Nigerians. Nigerians will be treated as if they are customers. 3, ATIKU is going to make sure that the green passport, its glory days will be returned, where Nigerians will be respected in every nook and crannies of this country. Not like today, that even in ECOWAS country, the president is on row 2 or row 3. No! Not under ATIKU Abubakar. The dignity, reputation, and regard and respect of this country will be restored. What we want to tell Nigerians is that you will not need anointing oil or go for a night vigil or dukulu Allahu 1,000 times before you travel from Abuja to Kaduna again. That the roads will be safe. The security architecture of this country is going to be remodeled.
How do you intend to do
There's
that?
going to be
what will you be doing differently from what President Buhari has done?
What we are going to do differently,
or what President Buhari inherited?
What we are going to do differently is this. From day one, ATIKU is going to have massive recruitment into the Nigerian police force. Today, it is embarrassing that a country of 218 million people is being governed by 300,000 policemen. Egypt, with a population of 80 million people, have 3 million policemen, about 3 million policemen. We are under police as a country. ATIKU is going to make sure that there will be massive recruitment of policemen.
Well,
not just massive
when you
recruitment.
say 3 million for Egypt, I actually doubt that figure because
I said about 3 million. It's above 2 million. And I'm talking to you today that not only that, in the area of training and retraining of the police, ATIKU is going to take that seriously. There's going to be a
is it looking at state police?
It's going to it's not only looking at state police. ATIKU is looking at restructuring. ATIKU is looking at devolution of powers. And ATIKU is looking at enhancing the capacity of the security architecture of this country, not only the police.
Does it intend to introduce the National Guard? I mean, a sort of pseudo force between the military and the police because of what we've seen.
You don't even need a National Guard. All you need is a complete capacity building for existing architecture of our security in this country. Once you improve training and retraining, once there's massive recruitment, once there's proper deployment, once there's proper orientation, once their remuneration is properly taken care of, then discipline will be installed. Then the security of this country will be taken care of. And there will be no compromise. And what ATIKU will do differently is that there will be punishment for indolent officers. There will be punishment for those who are not result-oriented. Today, we have the worst security in this country, in the history of this country. But the service chiefs who recorded F9 parallel were all their tenure of office extended by this administration.
Well, that's executive prerogative, I hope you know.
After extending, but you are reinforcing failure. After extending their term of office, they retired and they were all decorated as ambassadors. ATIKU will be a decisive commander-in-chief. If you are not result-oriented, if you have no value for office, you will be removed, you will be fired.
Okay, as we try to round off this conversation, Senator Dino Melaye, I'm curious to know why ATIKU Abubakar hasn't rolled out his anti-corruption policy. Why is ATIKU seeming to be running away from telling us if he's going to fight corruption or not?
Anyway, I want to say categorically that you got it wrong there, and maybe we deserve an apology from you. Because ATIKU,
we haven't heard you talking so much about that, and Nigerians are curious.
I'm trying to make you understand that you said he's running away from. I mean, that is not correct, and that is condescending. Because if you pick up our ATIKU policy document,
the 5 points agenda.
I'm talking about the policy document.
Okay.
The 5 agenda have breakdown. It's not just about those 5 items. Okay. Each of them have a breakdown. It's just those 5 are just the cardinal PowerPoints. but it's carried a lot of weight. And everywhere Atiku has gone, he has talked about corruption and anti-corruption.
So what's his anti-corruption agenda?
Everywhere he goes, he has elucidated seriously how he's going to fight corruption. To start with, you know that the present anti-corruption agencies we have in these countries were introduced by the Obasanjo-Atiku government, and Atiku played a pivotal role in the creation of those agencies.
How did you do that?
And as Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, his input was very germane.
Was it at the Federal Executive Council, or he had position papers?
I can tell you that. And apart from that, he choreographed the first bill that went to the National Assembly. Came from him. I'm telling you that today.
As a matter of fact.
And he also discovered Ribadu and also influenced his appointment at that time. So what I'm telling you in essence is that Atiku, through the instrumentality of open government, where there will be transparency, where there will be openness, and where there will be massive reduction for unnecessary recurrent expenditure.
So Nigerians should not be worried that he's going to be corruption tainted, like some of the people on the other side, like the APC and others are saying about Atiku Abubakar.
As I'm speaking with you,
quickly.
Today as I'm speaking with you, whether OBI, whether Kwankwaso, or Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Atiku is the only one that has never been invited by any anti-graft agency in this country. Atiku is the only one that has never been prosecuted, not to talk of being indicted.
Except in the US, except in the United States, Senator Dino Melaye. Except in the United States.
Have you seen Atiku in any court in the United States?
Well, there was that Justice Department probe about his... I mean, you and I know all about that. Senator Dino Melaye, as a federal lawmaker.
Those are discussions in beer parlors. I'm a realist.
Even when there's a position paper on that by the Justice Department of the United States.
On the internet, this man visited.
On the PTDF issue.
This man visited America. Did you see him in handcuffs? Did you see him being interrogated when he went to America? He went to America ceremoniously and came back flamboyantly. There was no questioning. So I don't want Nigerians to be carried away by negative propaganda, lies, just to paint a good man bad.
All right, we'll have to discuss this some other day. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to talk about this, but we'll have to discuss this some other time when I have you right here on the show again. We must thank you so much, Senator Dino Melaye. He's a former federal lawmaker who represented Kogi West Senatorial District in the 8th Senate, and of course, he's a spokesman of the Atiku Abubakar presidential campaign organization, that is the PDP Presidential Campaign Council. And I would have loved to ask you about the debacle in Kogi State between Governor Yaya Bello and Dangote, but of course we don't have enough time.
I'll quickly tell you that does not represent us. The action of the governor there does not represent the people of Kogi State.
We must thank you so much, Senator Dino Melaye, for being on the show. And that's how it's been on this edition of This Week. I'm Sumner Sambo. See you again when we discuss this and other issues on 2023 next week. As 2023 draws near, don't sell your vote. I'm Sumner Sambo. See you all the time.